Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome to Workshop 18. How to deal with a brick wall moment, aka you are stuck and you don't know how to move forward. I've been there, I'll be there again. Let's talk about it. If we are meeting for the first time, I'm Nikki. Thank you so much for being here. And if you watch these every day, I'm so sorry you're seeing this again. I am a personal brand coach. I've also been a personal brand myself for the last 25 years, and I help you to activate and illuminate what it is that you want and where you're going next. So, if you like this kind of work, please subscribe to the channel, to the playlist, and you can get access to the daily workshops. If you want longer ones that go into much more detail, I have some free ones on my website, nikkiraby.com/workshops. So, let me talk about 2014. I'm going to give you a very quick overview. I was not in a great place. I was in that place where I felt like time was running out. I was 32 for goodness sake. But you know, those moments where you're like, I'm in my 30s now, I should have all these things. And I just really feel like I didn't. And I met my mum. My mum wasn't living in London at the moment, so I drove up and we met about halfway between my where we lived. And she said, "Look, let's go to a hotel and we'll go out for dinner." And it was just like such that lovely moment of being in your 30s. And I remember getting to the hotel and we were right in the basement. Somebody been smoking in there. It really stunk. And I looked out the window and this was literally my view. And I just thought to myself, this sums up exactly where I'm at in life. I don't know where to move. I don't know where to move through it and round it. And like all I can see is this. And I want to remind you that most successful people have had these moments, even though they don't talk about it, even though they're just sharing their highlight reel, even though it feels like all the great things happen to them. Maybe they're just choosing not to share it. Fast forward to 10 years later, we had our roof done in our house that we own that I never thought would happen. Also, 9 months later, after that really difficult time, I was pregnant with my first child. And I had figured it out. I changed my my day rate to my hourly rate. And everything was beginning to move in a new direction. And so, if you can do this tricky, painful thing, and I wish I could give you a hug and make you a cup of tea or a coffee or a wine of your choice, if you can stay in the game and know that there's something great on the other side, often what is on the other side will be something greater and brighter and more brilliant than you could ever imagine. I'm going to share with you 10 things in this workshop that hopefully will help you. These are tools that I have used. You can shape them in a way that works for you. So I'm going to share with you 10 things that really have helped me. These are not just tools that I've plucked out and gone, yes, that sounds interesting. These are things that I use a lot. I refer back to all of the time, and they're really simple, they're really actionable, and you can pick and choose as you wish. When I'm sharing tools like this with you, I always envisage that I'm essentially like giving you a chicken or a chickpea if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. Everybody is going to have their own version of how they like to prepare it, season it, which part they like, how they like to eat it, what they like to eat it with, who they're eating it with, at what time of day, all of these different things. And so it's totally up to you whether or not you just take a couple and you really run with them and ditch the rest, or equally give everything a go, see how you go, and then find your own way through it. Sorry, I almost missed number one. Okay, here we go. Number one, when you are in that stuck situation, I have learned to be there fully, to understand it, to feel it. And I often do this difficult thing with me where I allow myself almost like to turn up the brightness, turn up the light. You know, when somebody would turn the lights on after a school disco, you're like, whoa, whoa, this all feels like a lot. When I'm in that stuck zone, I automatically want to go darker and darker and smaller and smaller. If, however, I can be willing to see and feel exactly what is going on, it always gives me information. When I have information, when I have data, I then know how to move forward. And that gives me information, that gives me intel, that gives me a sense of hope, a sense of like, oh, okay, this is what it is. I can really articulate it and label it. Number two, I have to really work on this because when I'm in a stuck mode, I can very quickly go into grumpy teenager and say that nothing is right and nothing is working and this and this and this. And my brain actively seeks out all that negativity. My brain goes, what? You want a list from 2021 and 1996? Here we go. Here are all the things. That is not helpful. That is not helpful to me. It's not helpful to you. And your brain is just getting high on that dopamine hit. What we need to do in those moments is really think about how we can train our brains to see more of what you desire. For example, even if you feel like you've got nine negatives and only one positive, if you can put focus and energy into that one positive, maybe tomorrow you'll have two positives and eight negatives. It's all about chipping away at these things. Number three, you are going to be required to think differently. So choose carefully and lock in. Sometimes when you hit that brick wall and you feel stuck, you know that it's time for a change. And that can be tricky. That can be really hard because everything in you wants you to go, no, 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 I haven't got the energy. I'm not in that place where I can do anything. This is when your courage and your bravery is needed to step up. Because now that you have fully seen and heard and absorbed and embodied what is going on, where you've been before and the actions and the ways of being no longer work. And so, what you need to do here, or what you get to do here, is to think differently and consider other options, to be open. Even though everything about you wants to be closed, be open, ask questions. Number four, if you are struggling to know what you want, think about what you don't want. I have had endless conversations with clients or networking events or mums on the school run. They're like, I just don't know what I want. And I will always ask them the opposing question. Tell me what you don't want. What do you hate? What really annoys you? What's the day that you cannot think of anything worse? Me and my mum play this game actually a lot when we think about jobs. Sometimes I'll see a job, or we'll be, I can't remember where we were the other day, Westfield, that's where we were. And there were some people outside, like properly scaling the building, because there was a building development. And I said, I don't think I'll be very good at that. And she was like, no, me neither. And but yet it felt like those people were totally in their flow. What I really recognize is there are so many things that I trust that I don't want. I don't want to be a truck driver. I don't want to be dangling on the side of Westfield. I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to be a podiatrist. I don't think I could be a doctor, even though, the part of like, yeah, Dr. Raby is here. I actually don't think I could, and I don't think I'd want to do the 7 years of training and the rest. And so I trust all of those things that I don't want. And so, therefore, when I get the sense and the sensations of the things that I do want, I also must trust those as well. Number five, scale by 1% rather than 100%. When people say these stock phrases of you've got to give it 100%, give it 100%. Sometimes when you're in those moments, 100%, your whole situation, your whole 10 out of 10 version of you, it just feels ridiculous. It feels so ridiculous. So look at the power of the 1%. How can you be 1% better? How can you do this incremental move? What happens then? Not only does it get you from the position of just waiting and hoping into action, if you stack up those £1, 1%, though, or £1, the compound effect will be real. Each day, 1% more, after a while, you will notice that change rather than sitting and waiting and hoping for that 100% day. Because guess what? That 100% day, if you're feeling stuck, it's probably going to be a while before it shows up. Number six, build a habit that you can track every day and use it for what you need. I was having an exact stuck moment around 52 days ago. How do I know that? Because I track it. 52 days ago, I felt really stuck. I felt like I was really stuck in my body, in my mind. The ideas weren't flowing. And I had one of these check-in moments like, what's going on? How's my sleep? How's my hormones? How's my diet? How's my stress levels? How's my creativity? What's going on? How am I feeling? And I came back to this. I know that exercise and movement works for me. I've known it from being a little girl. Whenever I used to have tough times at school, I was really badly bullied. Dance was always the thing that got me through. I knew I could release that. And every night after school, I would crave that movement, almost like I had to shake and process those emotions. Now, I am only dancing in my kitchen, really, with my children, or occasionally I might go to a pub or a bar that has a dance floor. But for the time being, generally at this phase of life, I love walking and I love running. And yet my 10,000 steps were very inconsistent. Sometimes I would do it, sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I do 14,000 steps, sometimes I do 2,000 steps. And it was very inconsistent. And so when I was looking to get that rhythm and that momentum back into my life, I knew I had to then go back to something that was consistent. So 52 days ago today, I set myself a goal. 10,000 steps minimum every day. It took some planning, it took some organization, it took some early mornings, it took some like a walk around the block at 8 o'clock at night just to finish my steps. The first couple of weeks, I was like, really? This 10,000 steps? Anything? Honestly, day 21, the beginning of week three or the end of week three, something clicked. My brain felt completely different. And I use that 10,000 steps not only so I can tick it off every single day, but I use it for what I need. Sometimes I need to process. Sometimes I need to cry. Sometimes I need to get re-inspired. Sometimes I need to go somewhere I've never gone before. Sometimes I need to break it up into 2,000 steps because it's really like I need that more regular reminder. Sometimes I go out at 6:30 in the morning and it's all done by 8 o'clock. It just depends. But it's flexible, but it's firm. And that's a really good example of a good habit for me. Number seven, retracing your steps. Are you seeing any patterns, any data, anything that's happened before? Was there a trigger? I want you to wear your ITV crime detective drama hat. Like, what happened? What's the evidence? Pull it together. I want you to analyze this stuck moment. And one of the things that I often realize is when I suddenly hit that stuck moment, it's often been brewing for a while, but maybe I haven't been paying attention. That was a pattern that I used to have for years. I used to have this wildly optimistic, oh, it'll be fine, no problem, oh, it's all good. And then suddenly it would creep up on me and I'd be like, oh no, right. Where do I go from here? Retrace your steps. See if you can identify what happened so you can look out for it in the future. Number 8, time of connection, activation, inspiration outside of you. Now, you can even combine this with your daily habits. So I like to listen to a podcast, for example, on my 10,000 steps. It's really hard because when you're stuck, that's all your brain wants to talk about. And whenever somebody, it's like when, you're going through a hard time and somebody goes, what happened? Or and you go, oh, okay, let me just tell you the whole story. And you go round and round. And this thing gets, you know how candy floss gathers and it gets bigger and bigger, and sometimes it's going to wobble off the stick. That's how it can get. So I want you, wherever you can, to keep stepping outside of your situation, to connect, to activate, to look for that inspiration, almost with no expectation. Sometimes saying, I feel terrible today and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go to that business networking anyway. And I don't want to be the chattiest person and I'm not going to be the most extroverted. I might just sit in the corner, but I'm going to listen. And then when I leave, I'm going to have that moment and go, well done, kid, you did it. Excellent. Good stuff. You could have stayed at home today, but you didn't. Having those moments where you set yourself those little tasks, really, really important. Number 9, lean on your other moments. Notice your strength and your tenacity. I'm assuming that you are a fully grown adult watching this, and therefore you've probably had a few of these moments where you feel stuck, you don't know, your confidence has taken a turn, whatever it might be. Lean on your own successes. Notice how far you've come, your strength, your tenacity, your forks in the road, how you figured it out, how you bounced back, how you said yes, how you said no, how you found a way, how you felt more like yourself. If you've done it before, you're likely to do it again. If you haven't done it before, you can start now. You absolutely can. Finally, number 10. Focused Project You time. Today is day 1. I like to study myself like a scientific experiment sometimes. And it sounds very indulgent when I say it, but it's highly, highly useful. If I'm in a point where I don't know what I'm doing and everything feels a bit woolly and claggy and I'm going round and round in circles, I will set myself a tiny goal. I won't say, right, okay, I'm going to start my 5-year plan today. I will say, I'm going to see what's happening this week. And I'm going to assign 5 minutes in the morning to check in and see how I'm feeling. And I'm going to do it for 7 days and see how I go. Like with this 10,000 steps. I was like, okay, this is my new personality now. Now I'm on day 52. I have this evidence, I have this information. And I think sometimes people avoid doing this because they think that they've got to be, if they sign up for something or they agree or make a commitment to doing something, therefore they're going to have to be perfect for all that time. Absolutely not the case. In fact, when you are tired, when you are unenthused, when you don't know the right answer, that's when you're going to gather your evidence as well. And so just make that commitment. Maybe it's 30 days. Maybe it's this month that you're going to see where you are. Gather that evidence. Really notice. You know, when nursery school kids have the chicks that hatch in the incubator and they're all like standing going, that's got a little crack and oh, that one's coming. And you can see, you think it's going to hatch today, but maybe tomorrow. They are studying them so much. I want you to take that time for yourself. It's really going to give you so much information. And when you see those changes, when you see those glimmers, those moments, you can go, ah, things are happening, things are percolating, things are happening. And often they start internally, and then the external will catch up. Excuse me, if I can help and support you, I absolutely would love to do so. Come on over and check out my strategy sessions. They're over at nikkiraby.com/sessions. Click the book a complimentary call button. I would love to chat further and maybe I can help and advise where you go next and what kind of coaching package would work for you. Finally, if you want a CEO day of these kind of workshops, 5 workshops where you can activate and illuminate your next chapter, you are in luck, my friend. You can go to my latest CEO day course, which is at nikkiraby.com/activate. You can get started immediately. Also, the great thing is with these CEO days is you can do it today, you can do it again next month, you can go back around and you can go back and look at your notes and see how you are developing. So this framework will really support you every step of the way. I will link it down below. Let me know how you get on and thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the workshop playlist and I'll see you tomorrow.